You won't believe what just happened in crypto. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, right? This will be one for the history books. What's just happened within crypto is amazing. And, I've pointed towards that the last few days. I think I made, what, 5, 6 videos on Friday when the worst altcoin crash of all time has happened. At least the worst in the last decade. And again, you're not going to believe what Trump just said. You're not going to believe what's happening with China. You're not going to believe what the big players are doing. Hopefully, you're doing okay. I know there are a lot of people that had a very rough last couple of days, right? With that being said, we'll get into what's been happening, what's happening now. If you don't mind, though, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. Hit the bell notification, right? We were posting seemed like every 10 minutes during the crash. It seemed like there's so much news going on. So hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification. If you want to trade, check out BYDeFi underneath the video. There, we are running a double bonus campaign. So there's this trading up to $13,000 bonus. There's also a deposit event that's going on right now too. They're like doing a double event right now. So if you put a decent amount on the platform and also trade, you can get tons of free money. If you don't have a secondary exchange, sign up for BYDeFi. We've been talking about this in the whale chat that we have that's connected to the Telegram group underneath. It's free, but some people and I have been talking about like basically every exchange went down. So you need multiple exchanges because one will go down, another one will come back online. Like I was able to get into BYDeFi and make, you can see this trade. I just had some leftover money in the account that I didn't have to move over. And yeah, like we're up 64% on this ETH trade that we opened during the middle of the crash. Now, again, check that out underneath the video. Let's look here. Just to remember how bad this crash was, like Bitcoin dominance went up nearly 5% within half an hour, and Bitcoin was going down 20%, right? Bitcoin went down 20%, wick down. Actually, like I know this wick is lower, but still above this 98,000 that we hit in June. We closed above the previous lows that we had seen for the last couple times we were in the $108,000 range. So we closed back above there. But it was bloody, right? Atom went from $4 to $0.001. So we went from $3.40 to 56 cents, $5 to 75 cents for Aptos. Link went from $22 to $8. ADA went from 80 cents to 30 cents. It was horrible, right? But what did I say, right? And I feel like we say that we're not financial advisors on YouTube a lot, but I feel like it's a similar job where you're talking about the news, you're explaining what's happening in the market, and then you're trying to like normalize emotions, right? When people are feeling really greedy, you try to pull them back down. When people are feeling really scared, you try to bring them back up. So what I say, basically every leverage position except for like lower than 5x on Bitcoin and maybe 3x on ETH are wiped out. If someone had the poise to go long altcoins, they could get incredible returns. Think about it. Most of the market just got wiped out. This is the perfect time to send us higher. And what do you know? Bitcoin back at $114,000. Ethereum back over 4,000, right? We were just at 3,400. Now, basically half of this dip from the previous peak has been eaten up. Same thing with Bitcoin. So the people that did jump in, right, not with 100x leverage, not with 50, but 3, 5, 10x, are making really good money right now. And what's the big money doing? Well, they're actually buying. I'll show you in a second. But look what's happening. Vance talked to Trump about China yesterday. We appreciate the friendship Trump developed with China's Xi. Trump hopes we don't need to use leverage on China. On Friday, after the wipeout, Trump said that he's still going to meet with China. And then just a few minutes ago, Trump said, don't worry about China. It will all be fine. Highly respected President Xi just had a bad moment. He doesn't want depression, first country, neither do I. The USA wants to help China, not hurt it. Okay, so it sounds like China-US relations are fine. Maybe we're not going to see tariffs come into effect or worsening tariffs in the next 3 weeks. So it was just a big scare. There's obvious manipulation. There are people shorting the market up till the minute. There's a whale that shorted to the minute that Donald Trump talked about China. So there are obviously people manipulating the market down. And what did the big money do? Well, Tom Lee's BitMine bought 129,000 Ethereum, basically $500 million after the market crash. So they were buying significant amounts of Ethereum. We had Michael Saylor hinting at buying more Bitcoin. Don't stop believing with the Bitcoin B. I was talking about it openly on the channel, right? I opened up a trade during a video, but I was saying, hey, this is a good time to buy. At least if you're willing to, go through some turbulence. This is the perfect reset, right? Everyone talks about the manipulation and doing exactly the opposite of what you feel in crypto. So if you're feeling like, oh, I need to buy everything I can, generally you probably should be taking profits. If you feel scared, that's typically a good time to be buying. And that was the case here, right? People felt like things were going to zero. There were people that had stink bids, as in like they put bids on altcoins that they wanted to buy that were 90% below the market price, and they got filled. There's someone that I think made like 100,000% because some crypto on some exchange went down and then wicked right back up. It's insane, right? Now, if you're someone that got wiped out, right, I think you need to look at your risk tolerance. A lot of people feel like they have very high risk tolerance, that they're willing to go through a lot of turbulence, but maybe you're not cut out to have, that kind of risk tolerance. Maybe you need to diversify a little bit. Maybe you need a little bit of cash on the sidelines, or maybe you shouldn't be going like 100x leverage, right? I talk about low leverage all the time on this platform, but otherwise, you can, if you're okay after the market crash and you're willing to go through more turbulence in the future, you're probably going to get really good returns from here. Like we said, the whole market got wiped out, so now most likely big money is going to send us higher. That's how it always works out, right? You don't get the glory you don't get the big gains without a lot of turbulence and a lot of whales trying to push you out of your positions. So if you made it through the worst altcoin dip in history, you're buying alongside Tom Lee and Michael Saylor, buying a dip during a bull market, which typically ends up pretty good for people. All right, if you're still here, right, be happy. Try to touch grass. I know that's easier said than done, but there were a lot of people that took this obviously very hard. A lot of people leaving crypto forever, and that's typically not the best thing to do, right? When you feel beaten down, that's typically not the best time to leave crypto. That's typically a time where it's good to be buying, like I've said. I know I feel like I'm sitting on top of what's that called? I'm like sitting at a podium preaching or something right now. So I apologize for that. But yeah, it seems like, nothing's really changed in crypto. The crash wasn't really warranted. I think a lot of people realize that. That's why I was trying to make a lot of videos just saying, the market's going down. It's obvious manipulation, but the reaction from the market was not equivalent to what was actually happening, right? With Trump possibly announcing bigger tariffs, right? That was not the same thing. There was a manipulation that piggybacked off that, caused a lot of fear in the market, and then sent it right back up. Now this week, I have no idea what's going to happen, right? To price. I would not be surprised to see us move back up. All right. A lot of people just left crypto. That's going to be bought up by the strong hands. And then eventually those people will continue hearing about Bitcoin going higher, Ethereum going higher. They'll jump back in at the very peak. Then we'll go into a bear market, right? So if you just look at the past, typically Q4 is the best quarter. And typically this is where we peak out. Now every single cycle is different. So yeah, just be ready for the unexpected. Take profits when you can, when you're up a lot, when you're taking pictures of your portfolio. I talked about that just last week. I saw portfolio pictures all over Twitter, right? Be careful, right? Guard against your emotions and make sure that you're ready for the ups and downs. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Check out BYDeFi. There are also links to BTCC, BitUniX, WEEX, BLOFIN. Have multiple exchanges. If you're just using BYDeFi, that's not smart. If you're just using BitUniX, that's not smart. If you're just using, Bybit, that's not smart, because again, all of these have gone down. So sign up for multiple, put some money on them. I do like BYDeFi, as I've said in the past. There's someone in our Telegram that's working directly at BYDeFi. So if you have questions, concerns, like he was talking people through the crash, right? If there's something that they had questions about, he was helping them out. So if you want to join that Telegram, check it out underneath the video. They also have some unbelievable prizes, and this is ongoing. This isn't just for new people. This is for everyone that's ever signed up under my link, which other exchanges don't do. So I'd really consider BYDeFi. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.